The phone never left her hand. I was 40 years old when I realized that a person could disappear without ever leaving the room. My wife was still there physically. She still slept beside me. She still sat at the kitchen table in the mornings drinking tea. She still reminded our son to brush his teeth before school. If someone visited our house for 1 hour, they would probably say we looked like a normal family. But the woman I married had slowly become unreachable. And the strange thing was that it happened while she was holding a phone in her hand almost every minute of the day. Her name was Claire. We had been married for 10 years. We lived in a quiet area outside Birmingham. Just an ordinary middle-class life, built carefully over time. I had a master's degree in business management and worked long hours managing supply chains for a food company. Claire studied agricultural science at university before we moved abroad. She worked occasionally from home, but after our son was born, she focused more on family life. For years, our marriage felt stable. Not exciting every second. Real life is not a perfume advertisement where couples laugh in slow motion while running through fields. Real marriages are bills, laundry, school meetings, headaches, and deciding what to eat for dinner while one person is tired and the other person is irritated for reasons they no longer remember. But we respected each other. At least I believed we did. I spent most of my 20s outside Britain. My father worked across Europe, so I grew up moving between countries. I learned early that family matters more than excitement. When I finally married at 30, I took it seriously. I stopped behaving like a carefree young man. No flirting. No late-night nonsense with friends. I wanted stability. I wanted peace. When our son Ethan was born, I felt proud of the life we had built. Claire used to laugh easily back then. She loved cooking. On Sundays, music would play in the kitchen while she made breakfast. Ethan would sit on the counter stealing pieces of toast while she pretended to be angry. The house felt warm. Now, when I think about those mornings, they feel like scenes from another person's life. The change started slowly. Claire became interested in social media.
At first, it seemed harmless. She opened an Instagram page about cooking and family recipes.
She spent time decorating cakes, filming short videos, arranging food carefully near the window because natural light looked better. I actually admired her effort in the beginning. She would become excited whenever a post received a few hundred likes. She spoke about followers the way people speak about lottery tickets. But after nearly a year, the cooking page was not growing much. Then something changed. She started posting photographs of herself at restaurants, inside cafes, wearing new clothes, standing beside hotel mirrors, sitting in expensive-looking corners of places we could barely afford to visit once every few months. The followers increased immediately. 10,000, 30,000, 60,000, then 100,000. It happened frighteningly fast. And with the followers came something else. The phone never left her hand again. Breakfast with the phone. Dinner with the phone. Television with the phone. Bathroom with the phone. Even at night, her face glowed blue beside me under the blanket while she scrolled endlessly through strangers' lives. Sometimes I woke at 3 in the morning and saw her smiling silently at the screen.
Not smiling at me.
At the screen. That hurt more than I admitted at the time. I tried speaking calmly at first. "Claire," I said one evening, "don't you think this is becoming too much?" She barely looked up. "This is work. It's Instagram. It can become a career." I remember laughing quietly, not to insult her, more from confusion. A career doing what exactly? She looked at me sharply then. "You don't understand modern life." That sentence appeared more and more often after that. "You don't understand. You think traditionally. The world has changed. Everybody does this now." Everybody. The most dangerous word in modern society. Humans hear that word and suddenly start behaving like confused sheep wearing expensive trainers. The arguments became frequent. Not explosive at first, just cold. I would come home from work wanting conversation. She wanted photographs. "Wait before you eat." "Why?" "I need to take a picture." Sometimes the food became cold while she adjusted angles and lighting. Even family trips stopped feeling real. We could not simply enjoy a park or cafe anymore. Everything became content. One Saturday we drove to the countryside. Ethan wanted to feed ducks near a lake. Claire spent 40 minutes filming herself walking beside the water while Ethan sat alone throwing bread at birds. I remember watching him from a distance. My son looked bored, lonely. That frightened me. Children always notice the truth before adults do. The worst part was not even the phone itself. It was the distance growing between us. Claire became protective about her mobile in a way that felt unnatural. If I walked near her suddenly, she locked the screen immediately. If her phone buzzed late at night, she smiled faintly before turning away from me. One evening, I reached casually for her phone while she showered. Not even to check anything serious. Honestly, part of me wanted reassurance more than evidence. She came out of the bathroom so quickly it shocked me. "Why are you touching my phone?" The anger in her voice felt completely disproportionate. I was just moving it. "You don't trust me?" The question itself irritated me, because guilty people often become aggressive before innocent people even ask questions. After that, a strange feeling settled permanently inside me. Instinct. People ignore instinct because modern culture teaches us to doubt ourselves constantly. But the body notices changes before the mind accepts them. I started waking each morning with anxiety pressing on my chest. Sometimes I dreamed Claire was leaving me, in crowded places, while I searched for her helplessly through streets full of strangers. I told her about the dreams once.
She laughed softly and kissed my forehead.
You're imagining things. Maybe I wanted desperately to believe her, because the alternative could destroy our entire family. For months I lived between suspicion and denial. Then came the afternoon in the car. I still remember every detail with horrible clarity. Rain touched the windscreen lightly. I was parked outside a supermarket waiting for Claire while Ethan sat inside buying snacks with her. She had forgotten her second phone in the car. Yes, second phone. Even writing that now sounds absurd. Like the beginning of a bad crime documentary, narrated by a man with an unnecessarily dramatic voice. Yet there I was. The phone vibrated. One message appeared on the screen. "Miss me already?" My stomach tightened instantly. I should have ignored it. Perhaps decent people would. But marriage without trust turns ordinary people into investigators. I picked up the phone. The call came seconds later. I answered without speaking. At first, I only heard breathing. Then a man's voice. Soft, comfortable, intimate. The kind of voice people use after familiarity already exists. Are you alone now? Silence from me. Then he laughed quietly. You're quiet today? What followed changed something inside me permanently. I will not repeat every detail. Some memories should remain buried, but their conversation crossed every boundary a married person should protect. Flirting became explicit. Explicit became unbearable. By the end, I sat frozen in the driver's seat, feeling physically sick, while rain continued tapping gently against the glass, as if the universe could not care less about human misery. And maybe it cannot. The strangest part came later. After the call ended, Claire returned, carrying shopping bags beside Ethan. She looked completely normal, calm, relaxed. She smiled casually while placing groceries in the boot. No guilt. No panic. Nothing. That disturbed me more than the conversation itself. Because until that moment, some part of me still believed betrayal must look dramatic. Tears, fear, regret. Reality is often quieter. Sometimes betrayal simply looks like a woman asking whether you remembered to buy milk. I stayed silent for 3 days. 3 endless days. I barely slept. I went to work mechanically, forgetting conversations minutes after having them. Food tasted like paper. Every night I watched Claire moving around the kitchen while pretending nothing had happened. And every night I hoped she would confess voluntarily. I even gave her opportunities. We talked about relationships, loyalty, mistakes people make, second chances. Nothing. She sat beside me, discussing morality while hiding an affair behind her smile. That damaged my understanding of human beings more than I expected. On the third night, I finally broke. Ethan was asleep upstairs. Claire sat on the sofa, scrolling through Instagram videos with the television playing unnoticed in the background. I muted the television. "We need to talk." She looked annoyed immediately. "Can it wait?" "No." Something in my voice changed her expression. I sat opposite her, holding the phone, recording. "I know everything." Silence. A long, terrible silence. Then came the sentence, "Almost every guilty person apparently learns from the same secret handbook." It only happened once. I laughed. Not because anything was funny. Because pain sometimes exits the body disguised as laughter. "You expect me to believe that?" It didn't mean anything. Another classic sentence. Humanity really treats emotional destruction like poor customer service. Sorry for the inconvenience. Your marriage has been damaged during transit. I played part of the recording. Claire's face lost color instantly. For the first time, she looked afraid. But even then, something shocked me. Her fear seemed focused less on hurting me and more on being caught. We argued for hours. She claimed loneliness. She claimed social media changed her. She claimed attention from strangers became addictive. "You stopped seeing me," she said. "I worked for this family. You stopped noticing me as a woman." I remember staring at her in disbelief. We had built an entire life together. A child, a home, years of memories. And now we were speaking like strangers negotiating damage after a car accident. Eventually, I told her we needed separation. Not divorce immediately. Space. Distance. Time to think. Claire moved temporarily to a friend's flat nearby, while Ethan divided time between us. Explaining the situation to him became the hardest thing I have ever done. How do you explain adult failure to a child without poisoning his idea of love forever? One evening, Ethan asked quietly, "Did Mum do something bad?" I could not answer properly, because the truth was complicated. Yes, she betrayed me. But relationships rarely collapse from one moment alone. Tiny distances grow silently for years before disaster finally becomes visible. That does not excuse betrayal. But understanding human weakness requires honesty. The months after separation felt unreal. Friends took sides quietly. Families became involved. Claire's online life continued strangely untouched, while our real life collapsed behind closed doors. That part disgusted me most. She still posted smiling photographs from cafes while our son cried at night, asking why his parents no longer lived together. The internet rewards performance, not truth. One afternoon, I finally asked her something that had haunted me for months. "When did you stop loving me?" Claire looked down for a long time before answering. "I don't know if I stopped loving you," she said softly. "I think I stopped recognizing myself." That sentence stayed with me. Because maybe social media did not create a different person. Maybe it simply exposed parts already hidden underneath ordinary life. Attention can intoxicate people frighteningly fast. Especially ordinary people suddenly treated like celebrities by strangers online. And strangers online are dangerous because they only see edited fragments. They never see bills, stress, bad moods, exhaustion, responsibilities, aging, or ordinary reality. They see performances. And eventually, performers forget who they were before the audience arrived. A year has passed since our separation now. We are still legally married, though barely connected emotionally. Ethan is older, quieter too. Children adapt, but adaptation is not the same as healing. As for me, I no longer believe stable marriages collapse suddenly. They decay silently through neglect, distraction, ego, resentment, loneliness, and technology that enters homes pretending to connect people while often isolating them completely. Sometimes Claire and I still sit together during Ethan's school events. For short moments, we almost resemble the couple we used to be. Then her phone lights up beside her, and I remember everything again. The terrible thing is that I still miss her sometimes. Not the version staring endlessly into a screen. The older version. The woman dancing in the kitchen on Sunday mornings while our son laughed beside her. That woman feels dead now. And the saddest part is that nobody held a funeral.